Now at 9, this SGA election season is going on with only one slate. How will it go forward, and what the slate talked about tonight?
And the university responds to yesterday's nearly 6-hour internet outage on campus. What Ball State says could have been a scary cause.
Tracking colder temperatures as well as snow chances tonight on NewsLink, Indiana.
From the heart of Ball State University, live from the Unified Media Newsroom, NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Tonight was intended to be the first debate of the 2021 SGA election season, but instead of a number of slates facing off, there was only one. Good evening, and thanks for being with us. I'm Avery Johnson.
And I'm Libby Kleemeyer. NewsLink Indiana's Annie Keister joined us in the studio tonight on how this elections will go. Annie?
Yeah, guys, good evening. And this year we won't be seeing SGA slates going head to head, but even with only one slate on the ballot, this will still be an election. A competition with seemingly no competition. SGA's debate season with only one team.
If we are elected in.
Connor Sandburn has occupied the presidential seat for the last year. He says while a small turnout for the slates is rare, it may be a result of COVID-19.
There's not a lot of campus happenings right now, so a lot of students might have felt that maybe next year they decide to run.
The lone running slate is Strive.
But we also understand and believe that there should be more improvements for the student body.
But despite not having a competitor, they'll still have some credentials to meet before becoming Ball State SGA's next executive team. The SGA election code explains the ballot will have an option for the running slate and a no confidence option. The slate still has to get the majority vote to win the election. But tonight's SGA debate was more of a conversation. The team bringing in their ideas with all the attention.
That's what we're going to build upon. We're going to build upon those connections with organizations because we believe together as students we can make bigger impacts, and why not work together to improve that?
And while the 2021 election season may look different, Sandburn says the most important thing is
there will still be an election, absolutely.
Now, the competition may not be over yet. The SGA election schedule says late nominations will be accepted until February 21st. That's a full 8 days before the polls open online at 8 a.m. And of course, we will continue to keep you updated as election coverage could change on air and online. And of course, another debate will happen here on NewsLink Indiana next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Thank you so much, Annie. Now, moving nationally, House impeachment managers argue former President Donald Trump engaged in a months-long campaign to falsely convince his supporters that the election was stolen.
He's also accused of inciting the attack on the Capitol and violently disrupting the peaceful transfer of power. Nadia Romero is in Washington with highlights from today's proceedings.
The Senate will convene as a court of impeachment.
The case against Donald Trump continues in the impeachment court of the Senate.
Donald Trump surrendered his role as commander-in-chief and became the inciter-in-chief of a dangerous insurrection.
House managers acting as prosecutors used then-President Trump's own words, both before the election.
We're in a fight for the survival of our nation.
And after.
We're going to fight like hell, I'll tell you right now.
Along with footage from the attack on the Capitol.
So you can
As evidence, Trump committed an impeachable offense, inciting an insurrection.
He told them to fight like hell, and they brought us hell on that day.
He alone, our commander-in-chief, had the power to stop it. And he didn't.
Senators serving as jurors forced to relive the siege when many hid in fear for their lives.
The harm was real. The damage was real.
Former President Trump's defense team will make their case later this week, but it's likely Trump will be acquitted, especially since only 6 Republicans voted to support the constitutionality of this case. Far short of the 17 GOP senators Democrats need to convict the former president.
I think that pretty well fixes in place what you might see as the eventual outcome.
In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
Confirmation hearings are set for President Joe Biden's nomination for Attorney General. Judge Merrick Garland will appear in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee on February 22nd and 23rd. Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin called Garland a consensus pick and says he should be confirmed swiftly. Garland was nominated by the then-President Barack Obama for the Supreme Court following the death of Justice Antonin Scalia. At the time, Republicans refused to hold confirmation hearings.
And an update to a story brought to you yesterday, Ball State officials say a 6-hour-long internet blackout was the result of security systems stepping in to stop what they called a potential intrusion. The loss of the internet led to the cancellation of several classes on campus. In an email this morning, the university leaders said all students and staff will be required to change their password. The email also said it's believed student information was not compromised. The internet was finally restored last night, just before 8.
The Indiana House of Representatives will be picking up a bill that could require high school seniors to complete FAFSA forms. Republican Senator Gene Lysings said this would be necessary to boost the Hoosier State's low FAFSA completion rate. 60% of Indiana's 2020 graduates filed for their FAFSA, according to the National College Attainment Network. Students would only be able to get out of this requirement if a parent or school administrator signs an exemption waiver. And the CDC has released new guidelines about masks. Researchers at the CDC say layering a cloth mask over a medical mask can block over 92% of particles from escaping.
They say this is because the medical masks don't fit as tightly to faces, which creates a gap for air to escape. Cloth masks are typically more fitted and can help close that gap. The CDC says this new precaution will not only protect those around someone, but also the person wearing. The CDC is also changing its quarantine recommendations for Americans who have been fully vaccinated against COVID. The agency now says vaccinated people do not have to quarantine if they are exposed to someone who is infected. That applies only to the people who receive 2 doses of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, and only once 2 weeks has passed since the final dose. The CDC is also warning immunity can wear off, and 3 months post-vaccination, people should monitor symptoms and simply quarantine. Currently, about 10.5 million of them have been fully vaccinated, according to the CDC. The CEO of the vaccine maker Johnson & Johnson is now suggesting COVID-19 mutations may mean an annual COVID shot will be needed for years to come.
These highly contagious variants has led some to suggest the need for a yearly COVID shot, much like the flu vaccine. New CDC data shows nearly 950 known cases of the highly contagious variants in the U.S. The company asked the FDA for an emergency use authorization of its vaccine last week, and a green light could further boost vaccination doses available across the U.S.
Supply will increase, and we have to make sure that American public sees the data and has reliable sources to go to so they increase their comfort in being able to take the vaccine.
A new Gallup poll of more than 4,000 Americans taken at the end of January shows 71% of those survived are now willing to get COVID-19 vaccines, but 2/3 were not satisfied with how vaccinations are going in the U.S.
Target is offering its employees cash and a free ride to get a COVID-19 vaccine. The retail chain says its 350,000 hourly workers will receive 4 hours of pay, 2 for each dose, and $15 to use for a Lyft ride when they roll up their sleeves for the shots. Target is also joining forces with CVS to offer vaccines in their stores and distribution centers. More than 42 million vaccine doses have been distributed so far, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Thousands of people lined up in their cars to get a coronavirus vaccination at the TCF Center parking garage in Detroit on Monday. The city chose the indoor garage anticipating frigid days. Massive butane heaters kept temperatures inside warm, but some workers were checking people in outside in the cold. Now, I know definitely I would not want to be one of those people working checking those people outside.
No, definitely not. I had a hard time even walking outside for class this morning.
Yeah.
Yes, the winter weather season is definitely upon us here in Muncie, as temperatures are currently in the upper teens right now, around 19 degrees. Now, you might have noticed it was snowing earlier today, and that snow is continuing to move through the area. You can see that passing here on the radar image, and I will be continuing to track that evening snow, as well as snow chances continuing into this weekend, and freezing cold temperatures heading into this weekend and next week, all in my full forecast.
Morgan, thank you. Now, still ahead, the streak stays alive. How one group is still going strong while adapting to COVID precautions.
Plus, Aldi is growing, where they're expanding to, and how many stores will be added.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
After a decade of state wins, Ball State's speech team is hoping to keep that winning streak going.
Although the team has 10 years under its belt, there's a new challenge this year. COVID-19 has affected the way the team competes in a big way. However, the president, Natalie Thomason, says that they are making the best of it.
This year we will be meeting as a team in the Letterman building, but we will all each have our own individual rooms to compete in while we tune in to the rest of the tournament on Zoom. So it's all going to be COVID safe, but we will still get to have a little bit of that team connection. We'll get to exchange those fun little gifts, and they're a good motivator to get the day started.
The team is set to compete virtually at the Indiana Forensic Association State Tournament on Saturday. Aldi is growing its business in the U.S. The supermarket chain announced plans to open 100 new stores this year.
It is focusing on Arizona, California, Florida, and the Northeast. The discount grocer is also expanding curbside pickup to 500 stores, bringing the total to 1,200. Aldi has more than 2,000 locations in 37 states. The supermarket says by the end of 2022, it could become the third largest grocery retailer by store count in the U.S.
High C lovers, you're going to want to listen up. The old McDonald's favorite is coming back. After a few years of customer complaints, the Golden Arches deciding to bring the popular drink back. This coming after it was replaced by the Sprite Tropic Cranberry. It will begin appearing in select restaurants this month by June. McDonald's hopes to have the drink available nationwide. It will also be joining Fanta Orange Soda on its new McDonald's menu.
With Valentine's Day right around the corner, but the risk of spreading coronavirus remains high. That's why the CDC is issuing special recommendations for safety observing the holiday during this pandemic. The agency suggests start with a recommendation that if you celebrate in person, only gather with those that you live with. Other than that, the CDC suggests virtual gatherings. The office guidance released Monday also advised Americans to drop off Valentine's Day cards or decorations. If you are going to celebrate with someone who doesn't live with you, the safest activities are those that occur outside, like taking a walk. Speaking of Valentine's Day, spending is expected to be down $5 billion compared to last year, according to the National Retail Federation.
A Lending Tree survey also found people are dialing back on gifts. The survey also found that nearly 40% of Americans plan to skip celebrating in general to save money this year. And 10% of that group has not skipped the holiday before. Much of this is most likely to blame on COVID-19.
What would Wall Street be without the New York Stock Exchange? Well, the exchange is threatening to leave if New York State legislators move forward with a transfer tax. NYSE President Stacey Cunningham wrote about the issue in a Wall Street Journal editorial. Cunningham says the history is clear and says squeezing more revenue from financial firms will send businesses elsewhere. The NYSC and 25 others in the industry sent a letter to Governor Cuomo arguing against reimposing any form of a New York Stock Exchange transfer tax. Now, I know the weather in New York is crazy. Hopefully we don't get that there.
I know. Unfortunately, it's been super cold here.
Yes,
Morgan?
that is going to be expected to remain. Cold weather on the way, as I'll be tracking that and possible snow chances after the break.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
One in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Campus, and it's really snowy out there. I know walking here, it was snowing. Morgan, is that going to continue anytime soon?
Yes, actually, this snow is looking to linger over into tomorrow evening and continue into tonight. Looking here on this ridge, there's that snow off to the south of us and this system pushing through Muncie. Now, as we time out some of that expected snow out here on the precision cast, we can see that there is some cloud cover lingering into this evening, and that's going to continue to push through the area into tomorrow morning around 6 a.m. Expect some clouds to be in the area as well as some lingering snow from tonight to move through the area. Conditions look to clear out a little bit heading into tomorrow, but some clouds look to pass through the area from the system that moved through the area today. Friday, expect overall clear conditions, mostly sunny skies for the most part of Friday. And then by Friday evening, however, there looks to be another system that's headed from the west that looks to bring in some more cloud coverage and possible snow heading into this weekend. Now that colder air is coming from the west. As you can see, -9 out in Billings, so that colder air is going to push into the Muncie area as we're sitting around 19 degrees here locally. And around the state, temperatures staying in the upper teens and 20s. Now, these colder conditions are going to continue to remain as we head into the overnight hours. By 11 p.m., temperatures dropping to around 18 degrees. By 1 a.m., 17 degrees. 3 a.m., 16 degrees. But that's not as cold as it's going to get. By the lows for this evening, look to be around 15 degrees here in Muncie, and then overall staying in the mid-teens for the rest of the state as a whole. Now, wind chill values at the moment are on the cooler side, 3 degrees here in Muncie this evening, so definitely going to feel like temperatures are in the single digits, even though we're going to be actually at a current temperature of around 19 degrees. And those wind chill values are going to continue to drop as we head into tomorrow morning, and then going to stay that way as we head into Thursday around 9 a.m. They're going to slightly come up as we head into Thursday afternoon, but not very much, as it's going to be very cold tomorrow. Conditions look to be around 22 degrees, a northeast wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour with about a 40% chance for some more snow to roll through the area. Now, that cold air that I was mentioning coming from the west is going to impact us for much of tomorrow and continuing to the weekend and next week. 15 in Muncie, and then as we head into tomorrow evening, temperatures drop into the teens and then continue to drop into the 20s for the highs, and then are going to be staying in the upper 20s and mid 20s as well as the lower teens as we head into Friday and go into the weekend as well. 2 degrees, single-digit temps on Sunday, so definitely colder conditions coming up slightly a little bit Sunday evening, but overall staying relatively warm. And then as we head into the mid-7-day forecast, you can see temperatures at the moment staying primarily in the 20s, lows in the single digits with possible snow chances in the forecast.
Thank you. Now, a Ball State athlete you may know isn't only been giving his all on the floor, but also in his efforts to help his dad fight wildfires. Find out who next.
And there have been some changes made to the women's basketball schedule here at Ball State. We'll have all of that and more next in sports.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Problems. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we surround a community's most critical problems, and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
It doesn't take a scientist to cure hunger or a fancy economist to create safe housing. It takes imagination, creativity, sweat equity. And I think of kids going to school hungry. Hunger, homelessness. In this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out, or don't. The choice is yours.
Weeknights, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed.
But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal weather. We've got the latest news headlines.
Freezing temperatures have set in all the way down in Louisiana.
One man dead after flooding in Venice, Italy.
Up to the minute weather conditions.
Cold temperatures are the story this morning.
And of course, lots of fun.
It is not funny.
What on earth is happening there?
I feel sorry for the little guy.
I've got my socks on. Annie with her curly hair, which is actually never curly. Join us Friday mornings at 8 on Facebook Live.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Imani Butts with sports. Earlier last year, the wildfires in California burned many of the acres of state's forests, but one Ball State volleyball player was fighting the flames. NewsLink Indiana's Darius Black caught up with him to hear his story.
But when you go out there and you're driving on a road and it's every 10 yards you're hitting a new patch of rough pavement because that's where a car got stuck.
California is known for its blazing wildfires, and senior men's volleyball libero Nick Levanchi got a first-hand experience on the fire's effects.
Curfews every night to stop from any potential looting and just any sort of bad nature.
And he says, how you see it here on TV in the Midwest doesn't even come close to the real thing.
Wildfires isn't something that we really think about in the Midwest, and you'll see the headlines in the news and you'll say, oh wow, that's really scary, that's really bad.
The main reason he went out to California, putting family first in an effort to help his dad.
I actually went out there to help my dad, and my dad is a retired fireman from St. Louis, Missouri, and he retired and started his own company doing the wildfire cleanups.
For him, the wildfires really gave him a chance to take a step back and reflect.
To think that everything could be gone from you, like in the blink of an eye, is just really scary, and it makes you realize that, to cherish every moment. And whether it be with your home, your loved ones, or just, in a place.
The experience for him, nothing short of shocking.
So it was really eye-opening because it was nothing like what you would expect. You see very little homes. The ones that did stay there were very lucky.
In Muncie, Darius Black, NewsLink, Indiana.
After postponing game after game, the MAC is making some changes to the women's basketball schedule. The Cardinals were originally supposed to face the Buffalo Bulls in January, will now compete on February 20th. Kent State will face NIU on February 20th and 21st, and Toledo will travel to Michigan to battle EMU on February 21st. The Cardinals will take a trip to Ohio this weekend to go head-to-head with the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. And finally, in case you missed it, you'll want to check this out. The newest Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, using their state's geography to their advantage. They held a boat parade earlier today in celebration of the big win. And for whatever reason, the Bucs quarterback Tom Brady thought it was a good idea to throw the Lombardi Trophy to Rob Gronkowski while they were on moving boats. Now, fortunately, Gronk was able to catch the pass just like his 2 Super Bowl touchdowns.
Thank you, Imani. We've got trending and final check on weather when we come back.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared. So start now.
Right now? Right now.
You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Time for us to take a look at what's trending.
Joining us now is NewsLink Indiana's Catherine Sergal. Catherine, what do you have for us?
Hi, guys. So, for my trending update, we're going to be talking about the Wizard of Oz. A new fair has recently been going on to the Yellow Brick Road. The classic Wizard of Oz film will be an adaptation of L. Frank Baum's book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. But Variety reports New Line promises the film will be a fresh take on Dorothy and the Land of Oz. No casting information has been announced. A pair of Nike sneakers inspired by former President Barack Obama will soon be up for grabs, but it will cost a pretty penny. $25,000 to be exact. The Hyperdunks will be sold at 4:44 p.m. on Friday in reference to Obama being the 44th president. The shoes are white with a dark blue Nike swoosh, and the presidential logo is on. Only 2 pairs of this special sneaker were made, adding the one for sale was not owned or worn by the former president. The other pair was made for Obama in 2009.
Thank you. Now for a final look at weather.
Below freezing temps and snow chances to come in the next week.
And that's all for tonight from NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night, everyone.